Streaming. I should probably bring it up on, there we go. It looks like it's streaming. I think it might be.
I have
not on YouTube.
Well,
Twitch
no,
is
it
streaming.
should be up now.
Twitch is up.
Can you guys see us and hear us?
There we go.
Is it up?
Yeah.
I see it on
Nice.
Twitch.
Oh, now I'm getting all the feedback here in my own audio.
Oh, it's fine. Hello, everyone.
What's up?
Hey.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everybody. We've got Spoole here with us.
Hi.
We're trying,
It's me.
yeah, we're doing the virtual podcast again, and holy shit, it's actually working because this time we were using Restream, or we were using XSplit. Now we're using Restream because I want to make sure that the audio is correct. So if anyone sees the audio not being correct with Elliot or Spoole's face, let us know in the chat.
1, 2, 3.
You can see my big zit that decided to show up today.
Oh, you look beautiful though. It was all the stress of appearing on the show, right, Spoole?
Right.
Yeah.
I got a text at like 9 this morning. And I'm like, oh, I got to stress out of zit right now.
It stresses it. We do have a super chat right off the bat. Lisa Nicoletti, $10. I love this. Thank you for doing this, guys. Elliot's keyboard's so loud, but it's fine.
Mechanical, baby.
It's mechanical.
I gotta feel those keys.
Spoole, we want to start with you on this topic because I watch your Twitch streams and I know that you play a lot of single player games. So
Okay.
the big story here is the biggest game on earth right now is Fortnite. It's a completely multiplayer game. And then
playing it.
Drake's playing it. Ninja's playing it. And so you have a dinosaur of a series, which means it's big, but probably close to getting hit with a giant meteor and dying, and that's Call of Duty. It's been the biggest series for probably almost 2 decades now, and they have apparently made the decision that they'll be not doing a single-player campaign this time around. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it makes sense for Call of Duty, and do you think that it'll end up hurting the franchise overall, or do you think that people just don't care anymore?
I don't know. My initial thoughts for it were like, I get from a business point of view where they probably maybe break even if you take into account if you're just counting the single player side of the games. Like they make all their money off of multiplayer and like selling whatever. I haven't played the COD multiplayer in a long time. But do they have crates or anything like that yet in there?
I'm sure that there'll be crates and stuff like that. There'll be microtransactions and
where with single player, you're not going to make any like long-term money from a franchise. And this is where my thoughts went of what I wish that they would kind of split it into, because COD started off as single player games. Like I remember playing, the old one, the old World War II ones and stuff like that. Way back in the day. Like I think I had Call of Duty on my Wii actually. At one point,
you have a Wii?
To aim with the controller and stuff.
That sounds so frustrating.
Weird. It was a really weird version. They were really banking on that Wiimote taking over gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my initial thoughts were like, I hope that they find a way to like at least split it off and have Call of Duty single player as like their own standalone games. Because when I played them back in the day, I enjoyed the single player side of it. I would play multiplayer, but I was more of a Battlefield multiplayer player where it's like you have squads, you have vehicles, you have all this other kind of crazy stuff going on, more so than Call of Duty myself. It's kind of sad and unfortunate that they are getting away from single player, because I know a lot of people that really enjoyed them. They were short-ish single player campaigns, like maybe at most like 6 or 7 hours, but usually people really enjoyed them. And not that the multiplayer isn't very good either, but they're really doubling down, it seems like, on the zombies as well as the multiplayer side, because I think with microtransactions, the way that's bringing in a lot of money on like these games and multiplayer games, it's just not worth it for them to pay 30 or 40% of a game budget on, storyboarding and extra writers and all the stuff that goes into a single player side when they're going to make hand over fist money with multiplayer side of things.
Yeah, so the stats are basically that as far as up until what was it, 2012? I think I have the an article pulled up here from 2012 when they did. They kind of looked into the way that the public can see how many people are actually playing or competing in or completing single player stuff is through achievements. Yeah. And so the stats from even 2012, which are one of it was like Black Ops 1 or 2, was 18% of players completed the Call of Duty Black Ops single player campaign. So if you only have 18% of the player base actually completing it and potentially buying it for just that, does it make sense financially for Activision to put that much effort into actually creating it?
Yeah, and I totally that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like for the longest time since they've had these single player campaigns combined with a multiplayer, the multiplayer is the main point of the games, and the single player is kind of tacked on, or like a side project.
Well, that's what it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it used to be. That's how it always was, or it has been for a long time now. And I think they're a big company, Activision, and they have marketing teams, and they have all these things where they look at those numbers, that 18% of people. Then exactly, like, is it worth it to them? And ultimately, they're a business, right? They don't really. The people at the top of Activision don't really care if they're making, if the games are fun. They just care because they have shareholders and people that they like, they have to basically, report to. It's not financially, it doesn't make fiscal, sense for them to keep making the single player side where it's getting more and more expensive to make these great spectacles and these awesome looking games and all these like animate cutscenes and all the costs of that, where they're not making their money back, or they're barely even breaking even probably on that side of it. Whereas multiplayer, they can spit out another COD game, more zombies, and then they can just charge a bunch of for like new skins and new like gun things or whatever, and they make money hand over fist.
And what do you think about everyone kind of, well, reportedly it's not confirmed yet, but a lot of the inside people on the inside are saying that they're developing a battle royale style mode. What do you think about that whole genre just completely taking over to the point where games like Call of Duty, which have had the market share for years, kind of like bending the knee and saying, you know what, fine, we'll do battle royale too? And do you think that you'd be even interested in playing a Call of Duty game that exists in a battle royale mode?
I personally don't. Like, battle royale is cool, but I've played some PUBG and I've played some Fortnite and stuff like that, and I don't really, I enjoy it, but I don't have the time to dedicate to where I feel my competitive side gets frustrated that my casual side doesn't have the skills or try hard enough for them. So I don't play them solo or anything like that. I rarely play them anymore. But I understand why Activision would go after that and go. It's weird that they would. I guess it's not. It's smart that they would use the COD brand, because the COD brand is so big, and they can use like Call of Duty with. They can be Call of Duty Battle Royale, or they can do Call of Duty MOBA, or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of a few years back when MOBAs, like League, was getting so big, and Dota 2 came out, and Dota 2 was, really big, and there were so many MOBA like competitors that popped up. It's the same thing as that. There will always be like cycles or in gaming or anything, whether it's movies or whatnot. They'll always kind of like people see something successful and they're not an innovator themselves, so they just kind of like latch on to this great idea, and they might do a spin-off that's different to it, like like it started with DayZ, right? And the DayZ mod, and then H1Z1. And H1Z1 actually originally was going to be much more like DayZ, where it was like more of a single player, like you run around, you're scavenging stuff, you're building things, you're fighting off people. It wasn't Battle Royale, but then they came up with the Battle Royale mod, or the Battle Royale version, and they kind of let that other one just disappear, because they realized this one with Battle Royale was so much more successful and people actually liked that.
Yeah.
It makes sense for Call of Duty to and Activision to evolve with the market, because if they don't, they're just going to be, people are still going to be playing a game
over and over and over again. That's the same thing.
And there will always be that niche market. Like people still play Counter-Strike, like CS 1.6 or something like, like people still play that.
Yeah.
Or they play like Day of Defeat, Source, or something. Like these games that have been around for over a decade.
Yeah.
Because they're so refined and they're like really great. But you're not going to get a bigger, like no one, all of a sudden there's not going to be a big wave of people that want to go back and play like Unreal Tournament 2004.
Yeah. Well, and not that's going to make a bunch of money for the company that's making it and make their shareholders happy. So really quick, before we get into another question that I have for both you and Elliot, and I myself have been playing a lot more single player recently. We have some super chats to get to. Big Chav 53, $5. Congrats to Elliot on getting married, and congrats to Shibby on the baby. Shibby fans eat baby food. Yeah, Shibby just announced that he's expecting a little baby Shibby. And it's a girl.
It's a girl.
It's going to be a girl gamer.
Yeah.
No one's having boys anymore.
That's true. I think I have one friend out of the dozen or so
war
friends.
on men needs to stop.
the war on men is it's they put something in the water for only.
It is weird though. Yeah, everyone I know having
turning the babies girls.
Yeah, it's strange, but
it's all that soy.
The next, I need to stop drinking Soylent.
Yeah.
So we have another one. Sauron, the Dark Lord of Mordor, with $100 super chat. Thank you so much, Sauron. First of all, congratulations, Elliot, on getting married. Tell Shibby congrats on the baby. Spool, I've missed you. Ricky, you look handsome as always. Can I get an epic yes from Spool, please?
Like the inside game one, like the yes.
There you go. He got it.
Yeah.
Also, God of War is proof that people still want single-player games, and we're going to get into that too. Then Sterling Alston, $10. Really like supporting you guys. Mind letting your fans know where to find a list of sponsorship codes, e.g. Bond, Mac Weldon, Blue Apron. When we have them live, I think we're going to start doing a Twitter thing weekly that has all of our currently used codes, so that'll be easier to find. So the question I have for... I guess myself, Elliot, and Spool is what it's hard. It's easy to say what you like about single player games, and when you're talking about it in a business sense, it becomes a bit murkier because yes, people love single player games and they will play them, but they are a finite source of entertainment, meaning that without DLC constantly streaming in, you kind of beat it and you're done with it. But I want to talk about what you love about single player games and why you play them as opposed to getting on with your friends and playing something together. And Elliot, if you want to take it first.
In general, I play way more single player games. I think especially, I love the Call of Duty campaigns. They were short, but they were in general really well made. And I think it's kind of bullshit that they're definitely going to still be asking for $60 for what's essentially just a bunch of maps they made that will no longer be tied to a campaign. Like in the past, like all the maps were related to the campaign you played through, and it was like a little, I don't know, there was like some connectivity there.
Yeah.
But I kind of get with Call of Duty, like that's a very linear first-person single-player game.
Yeah.
And I think that if they are in fact going to do more Battle Royale stuff, it probably means they're overhauling their engine a ton.
Yeah.
Because I refuse to believe that the current version of the Call of Duty game engine is even capable of a Battle Royale mode.
Yeah.
So, when you're going like big, huge open world versus linear, on rails almost, that you have to, that like affects your design choices quite a bit. So I think that might be it. But like I'm playing through The Witcher 3 right now. I'm loving the hell out of it. The Fallout games, I love those as well.
Yeah.
GTA, I barely touched GTA Online. I hear it's super fun, but like for me,
they did just they announced
the campaign.
They announced today that they're doing it's like a GTA, almost like a GTA starter pack. If you want to get into it now, it comes with everything they've released. It gives you $1 million of their GTA dollars, and it unlocks a bunch of stuff right off the bat. So yeah, that's an interesting way to do it. But that's the thing that kind of falls in with Elliot's usual. The way that Elliot approaches games is, you got The Witcher 3 because realistically, everything that you got with Witcher 3 is worth at when it was released, like over $100, and you bought it for $20.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
And I
the
know
end of the year goes on sale all the time.
And I know Spool,
with
you
single
were
player games,
Yeah.
like with multiplayer games, you kind of have to get in while it's still hot. Like if you want to be able to play with friends and you want like a big enough user base where the lobby wait times aren't ridiculous, like H1Z1, you got to get in while the iron's hot. With single player games, though, as long as you don't like spoil that shit for yourself by watching Let's Plays, like it's basically a new game for you.
Well, so that's what I think is fun about with streaming on single player games is there's kind of I feel there's two types of people, and Spool, since you stream so many of these, maybe you have the same idea or you've seen something different. Is there's if you're streaming a new game, it's something that maybe the people watching don't want to buy right off the bat. They want to see someone else play it, or they don't want to buy it, they can't afford it, so they want to watch someone play through it so they can enjoy the story. And then you have what I think is the most fun, and I've actually done this now that I've played a bunch of single player campaigns, is I'll go on and now that I've beat Dark Souls, I'll go on and find someone playing Dark Souls because I like watching them suffer through a part that I've been through. And I know you played Witcher 3, Spool. What was like kind of the reaction that you felt from your audience, and why do you think that they like watching people play single player games?
Yeah, there's like a whole like a niche kind of market. Like I also have noticed with like Bethesda games, whether it's Fallout or like any of the Fallout games or like Elder Scrolls games, there's a whole like subset of viewers, I guess, that love watching like these nostalgic kind of games, like that just love they have a hard time not backseat gaming when you get into like, especially like when it's something like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like I played through the whole Dark Souls series, and I wouldn't have played it by myself. I wouldn't have been able to beat it by myself because I would have gotten so frustrated.
Yeah.
But with having a chat there, that they don't necessarily spoil, but when I'm like, all right, I'm stuck, they can be like, all right, you need to go back through where you just like, all the way around. Like that is awesome. And there's people that live to kind of guide new, like they're almost like shepherds for like new players. They're like, all right, this is what you got to do. But sometimes they run into a hard line where there's people that get frustrated with you because you're stuck on something.
Yeah.
Stuck on it when they first did it, but it kills them not to tell you.
Yeah, and I've experienced that too. Is I've been playing through a lot of Far Cry 5, and I switched over. My friend was playing it, and he was becoming frustrated with leveling through the perks stuff, and I'm like, well, you have to go do these prepper stash things, and they're basically puzzles. And I was just sitting here like this, like I don't want to spoil like the fun of figuring out what you have to do, but oh my god, this is so frustrating to watch.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but as far as single-player campaigns go, getting back to the kind of one-and-done aspect of it, and I know that a lot of the bigger games are very long. It's 25, 30, sometimes 40 or 50 hours. We're playing through Borderlands 2 right now, and people are enjoying it because they've played through Borderlands 2. What satisfies you about playing a single-player campaign versus jumping on with your friends? Like, because without the chat, if you're not streaming, which a lot of people that are watching this right now, they don't stream, or maybe they watch someone stream. Without the chat there, what is it that you enjoy so much about just sitting down and watching time fly by as you're playing essentially what is nowadays a huge movie that's 40 hours long?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's like a sense of progression. Like, the if you go back to like the sense of feeling like you're a hero, or not necessarily a hero, but just that you're, kind of a badass or something like that. I think for me, it's the sense of progression and getting better. Like I grew up playing MMOs and RPGs and strategy games and stuff like that. Whereas playing like a multiplayer game is a roller coaster of ups and downs. Playing a single player game, it does have, setbacks, and like, especially if you play like a game like Dark Souls or even Witcher 3 or stuff where you lose, ultimately you can get badass and come back and win again. Whereas if you're playing something like Fortnite, say, or a MOBA, there's going to be people that are always better than you. You're never going to be able to really, like, you could train like 1,000 hours, but they've trained for like 5,000 or stuff. There's a salt level of multiplayer games that never goes away. Like everyone that plays Overwatch, even if you've played Overwatch since it came out, you'll still join a random like group match, or even if you have all your friends where everyone's just not in sync and you do really bad, it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. Or with, like, I think a video game, even Dark Souls, you have this sense of like where you finally, like when you beat a boss for the first time that you've probably died on like 50 or 60 times, and like you've just kind of pushed your way through. There's nothing that really beats that feeling kind of where you kind of achieve victory over something that had kind of like beaten you down before.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
with multiplayer games, they're so fast paced nowadays, they want to get you in and out of a game. You're almost never going to run into that same person that maybe beat you down before.
Yeah, and then just shit all over them. And it's funny because after the abuse I felt in Dark Souls, now that I've played through it and I understand what you need to do and how you need to level and everything, I do actually want to play it again to see how much I've improved on that. But with games like Witcher 3, which is, I don't even know how long that game is.
It's like 100+ hours.
So would you ever
I'm like
revisit that?
24 hours in already, and I've barely scratched the surface. But like a big reason for that is a big reason I like open world games in general is that I can really like get serious about questing if I'm in the mood for it, or I can just like wander around and just walk around and see what like random shit I come across if I'm not feeling like, you know, getting in the shit. Like it's you can sort of choose how you want to approach your playthrough.
Yeah, and with RPGs and single player games, that's a good point, Elliot, is like you can play it, especially open world ones, however you kind of want. Like if you want a game that's like about craft, like I have a friend who is basically like he like he is an embodiment of like a dwarf, like a classic dwarf. Like he loves crafting, he loves mining, he loves like farming and like doing games that are that kind of stuff. So any game that has that, he's gonna be all about crafting. Where me, I hate grinding things. Like I can only play ARPGs until I get max level, but I have friends that love like grinding and getting like better and better gear. For me, I'm like, I just want to play for the story. And then there's people that love like exploration and just love finding like, you know, like a jumping puzzle that's hidden on the side of the map that gets you like some kind of like basically nothing, like a note or whatever.
Well, that's the what I'm currently running into with Far Cry 5 is that there is so much to do in that game that is outside of the actual main storyline. And I think from what I've heard, I haven't started playing yet, but I did buy the Witcher 3 Game of the Year thing. But I heard that there's a lot of that as well, where it's like, oh, I can do the main quest, but I can also do this offshoot stuff and build up my character. And but I guess the main question I have for you, Spool, is in terms of like the financials for a company like this that could potentially sell you a DLC or something. How many times have you gone back to a single player game when they've added the DLC to buy it and then play it?
Very rarely.
Yes.
Me, I'm not the kind of person. I'm also not the kind of person that likes to go back and watch movies over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Or even like songs, unless I'm really feeling like a certain song. I won't like play one on repeat over and over. But there's lots of people that do love that stuff. I could never be a speedrunner because I would, once I kind of know the story and stuff like that, it's not as fun for me. Or once I've basically beaten the challenge, like I've had people, because I think Dark Souls 1 is getting remastered.
Yeah, it's coming out next month, I believe. In May,
so like, are you gonna go back and replay it? I'm like, no, not unless they put like Dark Souls 3 engine or something in it, to where it's like a different game basically, with the same story or something. That's just for me. I don't enjoy going back and playing through games multiple times because there's so many games out there. I just would rather be playing something new than that.
And for indie developers, I think it's a hard decision to make because on one hand you have I don't want to say bottom of the barrel, but the cheaper games to make with a small team and selling that and getting done with it and then moving on to the next thing is different from a lot of indie developers who can just put out a multiplayer thing with cosmetic items, and if it's unique enough, people are going to play it and keep funding it with money.
Yeah.
But all that's worth nothing because we're getting into the next topic, which is God of War is the biggest fucking game in the world right now. And I'm going to get to some quick stats really quick, but I want to get a couple of the super chats read here. And then if you're in the chat as well, I'm reading the chat actively or trying to manage this this whole stream and everything. But let me know in the chat what you guys like about specifically about playing through a single player game with no co-op, and also about watching people on Twitch play it, and what why you're attached to stuff like that. But the super chats we have now is Devo Molina, $1.99, Micro Shibet. That would be great if they named their daughter Shibet, first of all.
Yeah, great for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's we made a joke out of our daughter. Maxon Jones, £5. Have you guys been keeping up with hockey? I'll say no for pretty much all of us, unless Spoole has. Spoole, you're Canadian now.
No, I'm not. I don't know sports.
And then also Royal Blood or Death from Above 1979. I like Royal Blood, but I think Death from Above is better overall. Elliot,
I only know what Death from Above is. I have no idea what Royal Blood is.
Sayel, $5. Is single player gaming dead? No. God of War. But should COD waste resources on a meh single player? No one will play when multiplayer is longevity, and that's where the microbucks are. And I think he's saying yes, basically. And then Sayel, $5. Spool, I love you, man. I can't play Subnautica. I'm not about the health, hunger, thirst management. I'm a grown-ass man, and Minecraft days are behind me.
You can turn that off. You can play like casual or whatever without the food and water and stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what you're playing through now?
No, I beat that like a month or so.
Oh, okay. People have, from what I've seen, people love that game, and I've watched it, and I don't get it, but that's just me being old, I guess.
It has a good linear like sense of progression. In the beginning, it's kind of lame, but once you start to get like vehicles and stuff, you feel like, yeah, I'm a badass. I'm not afraid of the deep anymore, you know. And it's good. It's nice and fairly short and fun.
Yeah. So getting to God of War, which I haven't played yet because it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, blue exclusives.
Yeah. Did you play it yet, Spool, at all, or no?
No, I don't have a PS4 or 3 or the last PlayStation I owned was a 2. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, but this is kind of what is the wrench in the gears of saying that there's no extended kind of financing for stuff like that. Is a game like God of War comes out and destroys records, and although we can only go off of the UK retail charts because they're a lot more forthcoming with the money coming into games right up front. Like when it's like an American company, you'll hear 2 weeks from now how well the first week did or how it's doing or something like that. But according to the UK charts, God of War is the number one game of 2018 in the UK as far as sales goes. And it actually beat Far Cry 5, which was released on every console and PC. And God of War, a PS4 exclusive, beat Far Cry 5. And
well, Ricky, you got to remember, we noticed this at Gamescom, that outside the US, Xbox One is not a very popular, like it dominates here in the US, but outside the US, like PlayStation dominates across the board.
Yeah,
everyone knows PC is most prolific console of them all.
I like how much you held back in saying PC Master Race.
No, I think Far Cry kind of suffered from, it's the 5th game of the series. There's people that have determined they either like Far Cry or don't like Far Cry.
Yeah.
Also, when it first came out, critics kind of like, didn't like Far Cry 5 from what I saw.
Yeah.
And then about like, that was the first couple of days like that reviews came out where people were like, critics were like, oh, I don't really like this game and stuff. And there was a lot of people, even in my chat and stuff, I know that were kind of holding back from buying it. People that had been looking forward to it, they're like, oh, wait, maybe it's not very good. But then streamers started playing it. And a couple of days later, people really got into it, and then it blew back up. But I think that initial kind of
so here Adam on Twitch makes a good point. How you say like, oh well, this is like Far Cry 5, people know, but he's saying this is like the 8th God of War, which isn't wrong. It has a huge fan base. But I will agree with Elliot in the fact that we last year got to go to Gamescom in Germany, which is a big representation of European gaming, and the Microsoft or Xbox footprint is extremely small in Europe.
Yeah.
And so that's another point to make on this God of War sales thing, is PlayStation has kind of, in as far as consoles go, perfected dominating the single player experience, because what is there on Xbox that's a console exclusive single player?
Sea of Thieves.
Shut up,
not
Elliot.
even single player.
But that's on PC as well. But
what was that one that was like this was like a couple years back, where you kind of like you like parkoured and skated around.
Oh, the Brandon Winfrey game, Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive. They had that. Was that even single player?
I looked that up the other day, and I was like, because I'm always on the like idea of what could actually be a good battle royale game, and Sunset Overdrive would be a fucking awesome battle royale game.
Skating and stuff.
Yeah, because you're skating around and shooting guns while you're sliding across like beams and stuff. But so with PlayStation, like just the two off the top of my head from the past 2 years, God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn are two exceptional games, and they run. I only have the old PS4. I don't have the Pro or anything. And as far as Horizon Zero Dawn, and I've seen that God of War looks just as good as well, but Horizon Zero Dawn was a beautiful game that did not even make sense to me how it could run so well on a console that's like 4 years old. And the experience was just incredible. And then you look at what Xbox has, and they've completely pivoted towards let's kind of focus on multiplayer because that's what we think people want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think PlayStation has really, really good talent. It's almost like Marvel versus DC in the way that Marvel can tell. They may not be the best stories, but they're stories that everyone will enjoy for the most part. Like general populace is going to enjoy. Whereas Microsoft kind of like they don't really know. They're trying to play catch up. They're trying to figure out how they're going to make money or do their own thing. But Sony has such good first party studios that make like Uncharted or Last of Us.
Or, Last of Us and Uncharted. That's like a perfect example.
Or they have like a really good pipeline of just how to make single player RPGs
they're coming out with Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man in the coming months.
Incredible.
And that's what's like. It freaks me out that like you have a console that is legitimately even 5 years old at this point almost, depending on when they started developing it, and you have something like Spider-Man come out and it plays perfectly, or it hopefully will, but God of War is a perfect example of it playing perfectly, and that it shows that to me that as far as consoles go, PlayStation is very focused on storytelling, and it's paid off for them in a huge way.
Yeah, and I think Sony, with a lot of its franchises now, they've basically proven themselves almost like as a Nintendo. Nintendo has like a diehard, single player, like fan base of like whether it's Zelda or Mario or different ones. Like there's people that are like fanboys for their franchises to the end. Where Sony over the past decades have basically built up these franchises that people are in love with and will buy no matter what. And I think God of War wasn't necessarily that way, because from what I understand, the third God of War, people were starting to kind of lose interest. But them going to the Viking, after the Vikings and like Norse mythology and stuff, revitalized that whole franchise and got people into it. And as soon as there were good reviews, people were like, all right, I'm ready to go back. I'm ready. And so I think it's done really well. They're really smart that way.
In regards to the single player stuff, Daft Venom on Twitch said, I like to immerse myself as much as possible into another world and forget about problems in real life. That's why they enjoy single player games. Kusea says, the entire Kingdom Hearts series is my absolute favorite single player experience. And then Brace 110, €2, opinions, and I'll have to defer to Spool on this because I have no opinions on either of these two titles. Opinions on Spyro and RuneScape.
I played Spyro back on the PS1. I remember playing it, and it was good. It was a good game at the time and stuff. I think the new remaster, or whatever you want to call remake, because it's basically they remade the game. It's not necessarily like a remaster. Like they new engine, new art, new everything, just the same story and the same puzzles and stuff. Yeah. I think that's really cool. I'm really kind of sad and tired of like remakes where it's like literally just like a texture update, and then they're just preying on people's nostalgia at this point. Where the Spyro remaster, or whatever you want to call it, looks like some love and passion, kind of went into it, and they remade it. That way. So that I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if I will necessarily get it, but it looks good. As for RuneScape, I've never played RuneScape in my life. I played Ultima Online. I played EverQuest. I played a ton of other MMOs, like WoW. I played a game called Dark Age of Camelot. For some reason, never touched RuneScape. it's one I've threatened to do like a 24-hour stream with just to see, but I don't know if that will ever happen.
Yeah. Devlin G54 says, money is also a key problem. Microsoft is too bothered with a bottom line that they don't devote passion to their games. Early PlayStation took a shit ton of L's from Sega and Nintendo before they found success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Microsoft is they just got to figure out they just don't have someone at the top or someone with like a great strategy. Microsoft's kind of gotten really broad, where PlayStation has refined what they do have.
Mm-hmm.
I think is more of what it is. And even when they announced like the Microsoft One and stuff, and Microsoft One was going to be like an entertainment platform for entertaining, not for game. PlayStation was like, we're making games for you, the gamers.
Yeah, they had a split. It was like E3 a couple years ago where they were like, you could tell that Microsoft was going to say, we want the Xbox to be an entertainment device. We want you to watch the NFL on it. We want you to do this and that. And Sony was basically responded to that with, we make games, and we're going to make the best games possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was years back, and I think Microsoft's still kind of suffering from that kind of mindset where they want to be like a broad like entertainment box.
Yeah.
And PlayStation, is wanting to make a game for a console for gamers. And then Nintendo also is like the experimental, like we're gonna try, like with is it Labo or whatever.
Oh yeah, that came out this weekend apparently.
Yeah, I saw some people with them, but I haven't seen anyone actually using them. Like I haven't even seen any streams of people like trying.
Well, what would you stream? It would be an IRL stream of you like riding a fake bicycle around.
Exactly.
I'm gonna look up some reviews on Nintendo Labo of course they're all gonna be positive. My kid loves it until they get it wet and it's fucking, you can't use it anymore. There are 0 1-star reviews. The only
I have a new appreciation of
apparently
trash.
you can like make your own stuff from cardboard too once you have the basic
Yeah. The only bad review is missing pieces. Very disappointing. We also have a super chat from George Salinas, $4.99. Congrats to Elliot and Shibby. I myself also just found out I'm having a baby girl, so it must be something in the water. So there you go.
Yeah.
Proof.
Oh, that's soy.
Yeah. And then
turn the frickin' baby's female.
Yeah. Alto Volte, $2. Can Spool do the oh my god? You don't have to, Spool, but
Wait, he gave you $2 for me to do?
Yeah, you don't get the
That's
money.
how it works here.
Oh my lord.
Okay. Yeah. It's like the discount version. Yeah.
Oh sweet Jesus.
So Elliot, you primarily to put a pin in this topic, primarily now play single player games. What do you not like about multiplayer? What keeps you away from that?
I mean, Spool already said it, but it's I mean, in order to really like enjoy a multiplayer game, you have to be good at it. In order to be good at it, you got to set aside a lot of time to like really like get your skills up. And I don't know, especially with stuff like Fortnite. Like Fortnite's having the old Call of Duty effect where it's like, even if I wanted to really like get good, there's someone half my age with twice as much free time on their hands.
Yeah.
Whose brain cells are fresh and firing off neurons twice as fast as me, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I do like. I enjoy playing games with squads. Like I'm pretty fucking terrible at Fortnite, but doing squads on Fortnite is a good time.
Well, they have the 50v50 mode right now.
Fun. Huh?
They brought the 50v50 mode back, so.
Yeah, that one was fun.
Why don't they leave that on all the time?
Servers.
I guess.
Yeah, they don't want to segment their servers too much.
Moving on to, I guess, we have Spool on, so we'll talk about gaming news. Spool, did you play Firewatch at all?
I did.
Yeah.
Is there something new with Firewatch? I thought Firewatch was a big letdown. Like, people were like, oh, it looked really beautiful, but by the end, I was like, okay, well, that happened.
Yeah. So the news is that Firewatch developer Campo Santo was acquired outright by Valve.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's who that was. I saw Campo Santo.
PewDiePie effect be damned. They still sold to Valve.
They absorbed like 5 people or 15 people or whatever it was, and I saw that, but I didn't connect or check who that studio was. It's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Valve's supposedly working on like a new, like, people are all, in a flurry of trying to figure out what it is, but
that's
game
actually,
IP.
That's big news, because what's the last thing Valve put out originally? It's been like 10 years,
Portal
right?
Portal Bridge Builder.
Yeah, but that was just they licensed out the IP for that. Like I don't think they actually made it.
I think they did. Did they do like a Dota card game or something like that, or they're working on one?
I think they announced it at some point, but I don't think it's out or anything.
No, I don't think so.
But again, it's like with Hearthstone taking up a lot of the market share. Like I personally, and I know that it's a huge game. I personally don't know anyone that plays Dota. I know lots of people that play League of Legends. I know lots of people that play Hearthstone. I don't know if that would really translate. Did you ever play the Witcher card game?
I had a chat. Actually, I had chat help me with this last time where I tried to replay through Witcher 3 because I keep stopping and I stopped again. I got like three quarters of the way through and stopped. But I had people in chat actually teach me and show me how to play Gwent, but I never played the standalone. It was actually interesting once I got a hang of it, but the first time we played Witcher 3, I was like, hell no. I lost the tutorial mission, was like, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
From what I hear, the standalone version's way different, and it's like definitely pay to win sort of thing. And
yeah, well, that's what Hearthstone is too. It's like, you can do a lot better if you give us $100. It's called Gwent. Everyone's correcting Elliot. Who said? What did you say? Like, I don't know what you said before.
Gooey ducks.
Gwar. Yeah, I would play a Gwar card game.
Yeah. The Gwar game.
I've activated my Odorous Urungus trap card.
They're all trap cards, it turns out.
Yeah. So to get off of let's see here. We got TJ Hubbard $1.99. Last good campaign I played was Titanfall 2. Shazam Gaming for the win. $2, take my money. Poddington, £10. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Do you think the Campo Santo is working on Half-Life 3, Spool?
No, the best we'll ever get for Half-Life 3 is that leaked or whatever, the document that...
Oh, the story that they had written?
Yeah. Was going to be by, like, the head writer. I don't think... And someone... And I will talk this very long, but they... basically, people from the inside of Valve kind of, let everyone know that basically Half-Life 3 got so hyped that Valve decided that it wouldn't even be worth putting out because it would never live up to the hype that people had hyped it up to. So we basically shot ourselves in the foot. Good job, everybody.
everyone hyped it to death.
That's such bullshit, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is
really like it. I mean, Valve has so much money. They could have hired the best writers and designers on Earth to make that game if they really wanted to. But no, it's like we have this game studio over here, and then we have this machine that just prints money for doing absolutely nothing. Yeah. Like, what should we divert our resources to more? Like, it was a fucking cynical, greedy move. Yeah. Just admit it. Admit it. I won't even hold it against you guys.
I think Gaben just like a month or two ago basically said, well, now that they can get back to focusing on making games again because they finally got their hardware side, figured out, because they were worried about like PC gaming basically going away or something. So they want to get a bunch of hardware stuff in regards to like the Steam boxes. Yeah, it was
2013 or 2012 when they started developing the Steam box, because back then everything was going console because consoles were finally powerful enough to handle like these new AAA games, and they were going to be coming out with the Xbox One and all that. And what's funny is going back to the single player stuff and how you can tell that Microsoft kind of has no plans or proper IP aside from Crackdown, which we've already talked about at length about, like you're putting all your eggs in that basket. All right. But yeah, when the Xbox One X, their ultra powerful system, was released, there was nothing to do with it. We have PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds looks better in it. Mm-hmm. But also you can just play it on your phone now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But
I haven't tried any of that yet.
Elliot, before we get into any other stuff, I have to ask you, did you watch Westworld last night?
No, don't say a goddamn thing.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it either, so I guess we can't talk about that. Did you watch it, Spool?
I haven't watched Westworld at all yet.
Yeah.
So you could give me from my general understanding, it's like people inside of an MMO or something.
Yeah, basically, it's the future, and technology has progressed so much that you can basically make a real life MMO with like cyborg humans that are NPCs, but they made the AI so good that they become self-aware. Yeah. And, learn how to live.
It's Ready Player One, but the world is virtual. You're not wearing a mask.
Yeah, season 1 was great. They definitely it was very self-indulgent, where they were like going out of their way to like try to confuse the viewer, and like apparently they said like they're gonna not do that as much this year, which I can appreciate, because like season 1 was just one big fucking like Easter egg hunt, and like on Reddit, Reddit basically figured out all of the like big spoilers for season 1 after the second episode. And I read that, and it kind of like ruined the rest of it, because I'm like, I know what's happening now.
Oh no!
Just fucking say it already.
Yeah.
That's what
I wonder if Reddit had existed when Lost was around.
Oh, it would have been chaos.
Been.
Because even the thing about the one that I did get hooked on with Reddit, because they always ended up being wrong anyway, and it wasn't like it wasn't this on the same level as like people hypothesizing about Westworld, was when Breaking Bad was coming into its last 2 seasons. The Breaking Bad subreddit was absolutely insane, and like for the most part, all of the guesses of what was going to happen were all wrong, which is a credit to the writers for Breaking Bad for flipping the script on what everyone thought was going to happen always. But it's a fun place to be involved in the conversation about a show, but also.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones probably would be like the same thing.
Yeah.
Where people are now that they're outside of the books, like who knows? Like just everyone trying to guess what's gonna happen.
I do like I go on the Game of Thrones subreddit after I watch an episode for just like the post episode discussion, because people do notice things that I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. But theorizing on fiction, it sort of ruins everything for me. Breaking Bad, I got so sick of everyone's fucking theories about how Breaking Bad was going to end. I was just like, just shut up.
That. Also, when Breaking Bad was its biggest, it didn't go to the level, because it was a show that obviously it wasn't inaccessible to younger people, but younger people didn't watch it as much, especially towards the end. They weren't as caught up, I feel like, based on the fact that it did almost have the same kind of feeling as Rick and Morty currently does. But it never went like to the completely lame. But yeah, towards the end where Breaking Bad was like you would get in a loot box or a loot crate or whatever, it'd be like, here's your Los Pollos Hermanos shirt or whatever, and it's just like it became such a phenomenon that it made it almost lame to watch.
Well, and you had the same Rick and Morty effect where
you have to be smart. You have to know how to make meth to watch it.
Well, it's like with Rick and Morty, people like genuinely admire Rick.
Yeah.
Well beyond what the show's creators expect you to. And the same thing happened with Breaking Bad, where people were like, "Man, Skyler's such a fucking bitch. Like, doesn't like her husband cooking meth and being a criminal." Wow.
Yeah.
She was a bitch, though.
What an asshole. Like, I mean, Waltz, you're supposed to empathize with him, but you're not really supposed to like him.
No, he's not a good guy by the end at all. And, he even kind of admits. Do you know that they had to like put some kind of like deterrence up at like the actual house because people kept going over there?
Yeah, they put a fence around it. Yeah, we went there. We went there. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was much nicer then. They were very nice and came out and spoke with us and stuff. But it's crazy. And now getting into our usual topic of box office numbers. Elliot, I'm gonna put you on the screen here. I'm gonna read through what happened at the box office this weekend, which was kind of a little bit of a sleeper because of Avengers: Infinity War coming out next week. So as far as like mainstream, it's this week, this Thursday. As far as that,
you just want me to react?
Oh yeah, 427.
Well, I'm just gonna. Yeah. Let's see. So the I Feel Pretty came out, but according to this is IndieWire.com, this weekend I Feel Pretty took just this weekend it took just $22 million to be number one at the box office. In its third weekend, A Quiet Place led a closely matched group of the top 4 spots, bringing in about 16% more business than the same time last year. Blah, blah, blah. So it was A Quiet Place dominated again. I Feel Pretty, the Amy Schumer movie, did 16 million, and then Super Troopers 2, which no one thought that was going to be a gigantic, but it did $4 million in 1,000 theaters. And from what
they already made their money on Kickstarter.
Yeah, which is that was a long time ago, but nothing really surprising there except for A Quiet Place is still dominating, but also it was kind of a sleeper weekend in the sense that Avengers is coming out
Yeah, everyone's
this week.
saving their,
So
their money.
Next week it's gonna be like $1 billion.
oh my god, yeah, it's going to be.
I didn't pre-order. I
Oh,
did
you
not
can't even see
pre-order.
it then if you didn't pre-order.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to wait till like Monday at like 10 a.m.
Yeah, I'm going Thursday night at, I believe, it was a nice theater. But yeah, I had to get it like that. I woke up and it was like 8 a.m. They announced that the tickets were on sale, and at 8:05 all the seats were gone.
Yeah.
Except for like one of the screenings. So I don't know. I'm excited.
I hate that. I saw fucking The Force Awakens like at midnight on opening night, and I was just like, I'm tired. Too many people. Everyone's like way too stoked about this. Just like
clapping in the middle of the movie, like when stuff happens.
Yeah.
Not really my thing.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some questions and answers from the viewers. We put out a tweet on Twitter, the twitter.com/etc show or at etc show.
Twitter.com.
And we got to start out with the show's executive producer these days, Sauron, the Dark Lord of Mordor, who asks, "What are some video?" And thank you again for the $100 today, Sauron. Sauron asks, "What are some video games you think would make a good movie or series? Personally, I want to see a Dead Space horror movie." Spooled, what do you think?
RimWorld, but like Final Destination style.
What's RimWorld?
I'm surprised, Elliot, do you not know what RimWorld is? You'd probably enjoy it.
I've heard the title. I don't know anything about it.
It's basically like a colony sim management game where you have like colonists and you basically give them tasks to do, whether it's mining or digging or crafting or doing those things. But it's a survival game in that you're crashing on this planet, and the game throws things like toxic fallout or like a volcanic winter or like infestation from like man-eating bugs or like mechanoid robots that come and invade your base, or raids from pirates or stuff. And you're trying to keep everyone alive, and they can die in like the most ridiculous ways. You know, there's mentality and like psychologies in it. So like if people get to a certain unhappiness level, they can break and go berserk and like try and butcher their friends or stuff.
So you'd want to see that turned into a series or a movie?
as like a Final Destination like kind of movie where people just die in all these crazy, ridiculous ways.
Elliot, what do you think?
I mean, they're already making a Witcher series for Netflix that's supposed to come out in like 2 years, and I mean, like, I think that's perfect because it's The Witcher is based on a series of books. It's very similar to like the George R. R. Martin books, except it's from Poland, and
the guy gets none of the money, or was that the one where he sold the rights and he's like, this will never be big?
He doesn't make a lot off the video games. I think he will make a lot off the show.
And the show's gonna be live action?
Yeah. But it's smart. It'll attract a lot of people that want some more Game of Thrones after there's no more Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And but I like it because depending on how they do it, it could very much be its own thing. Like the world is sort of similar to Game of Thrones, but the main character is almost like he's sort of just like a bounty hunter / detective person. So they could make it so you have like procedural standalone episodes a lot more than Game of Thrones, which is just like this giant epic story where you forget about things that happened.
Yeah, I think it could be really, really good if written, fairly well. It'll totally work. I think Mass Effect would be a fun movie.
There's so many movies like that now, though.
Yeah,
they just came out with.
I would love like the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah,
I want like rather than stay in the same Star Wars kind of universe where they're just continually going off the like Luke and Leia and like the Skywalker kind of stuff. I would love if they jump back to like where there's Mandalorians around and like the Sith come and invade and like all that kind of stuff, and where there's. I would love it if there were tons of Sith versus tons of Jedi, and it was just like actually like more like a war movie like that. Be awesome.
But it's not canon anymore.
It's not. That's the sad thing.
Elliot, turn your phone off.
It's not my phone.
Oh,
it's hers.
Okay. For me, I would. There's two. I would love to see a Fallout movie. As far as a show goes, I know that I'm a recent convert to both of these things, but I think combining them would be great, and that would be a Dark Souls anime. Because every episode ending in a huge, every episode just being a huge battle would be extremely entertaining. I think it would work
I
really
think that
really
would
well.
work really well. Like the Castlevania one, I wish they had made more episodes of the Castlevania anime.
Well, they're coming out with a new. I think it was probably a risk on their part because the IP probably costs a lot, and they really went above and beyond with the animation style. So they probably wanted to test the waters first, and but they did get renewed. Mew Medic is saying a Dark Souls anime is just Berserk, so I guess that's an anime already.
Wolfenstein, I think, would be.
Oh my god.
Movie, like literally, like just don't even fuck with the story that much. Like especially the first one, was so well written. Like I was surprised because that game was always just like kind of like there wasn't really a story to it. It's just like we're killing Nazis and they can also like have mech suits, but like they did a really good job like taking this ridiculous concept for a world and still making you like care about the characters and like feel like it would could happen.
Yeah,
the erase you suspend some disbelief.
I was surprised at how like engrossed and attached I was to Wolfenstein as I've been playing through more and more single player campaigns. Like that one sticks out as I think the best, most compelling story and most fun to sit back and watch. Because there's some, even now with Far Cry, like I'm so ready to beat it that like anytime there's a cutscene or something like that, I'm like, all right, come on, I get what's going on. But with Wolfenstein, I would sit back and watch the scenes like this is either brutal or like funny or ridiculous or whatever. Like the scene where with Hitler in the new one is just like the most insane cutscene ever.
Well,
that part was nuts.
Yeah,
with Far Cry, like Ubisoft has their own movie studio. Like they make their games to like they try and like I've been playing through the Assassin's Creed franchise since January, like the whole thing because I had never played past like 2.
Yeah,
but like you could tell as they went along with how they tried to make it more and more like cinematic experience, and you're just like kind of rolling your eyes like, okay, I want to get, I get it or stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it would be cool. And obviously Netflix is just watching this now, just writing down ideas. So
yeah. Hello, Ted Sarandos.
Yeah.
We have to say copyright or TM after each of these.
Yeah. I mailed this. When I'm done, I'm going to print this entire live episode out and mail it to myself because that's how you copyright things, right?
True.
We got a question from Twitter from Spoole. Why does it burn when I pee?
You said to ask any of burning questions.
Oh. Spoole, it's probably because you have chlamydia.
Yeah.
And
good.
The Canadian chlamydia, it's real bad. It's like thick like maple syrup.
Oh God.
Ouch.
You fully live in Canada now, right?
Yeah, I'm living here as much as I can, working on getting, permanent residency. I'm technically visiting right now.
Hey,
you're in Canada.
Don't say that live because the government's watching.
You can visit for up to 6 months at a time.
Oh, okay.
Before you have to go back to the Americas.
Yeah,
it's actually harder.
Patrol is pretty tough.
It's actually harder to become, at least up till recently, it was actually harder to become like a citizen of Canada than America. Because they do, the only thing they really intake is like skilled workers and people that are married. So unless you're one of those, it's harder. And maybe
you'll get married soon.
Skilled workers if you already have a job.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll get married soon.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we went there, we went to Canada like 2 years ago for a shoot, and like I got pulled aside into like the interrogation room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh really?
Got like grilled, and I'm like, I think they're just really like concerned about people like showing up and then not leaving and like taking people's jobs and shit.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, okay, bro, you can see on my passport that I live in Los Angeles. Why would I move to Winnipeg in January?
Oh, yeah.
Like, why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah.
Like BC, like in Vancouver, it'd make more sense because at least they have like they have a film and TV like industry here. But like in Winnipeg, it's like what? No.
I'm sure like the guy was just pissed because Elliot probably offended him when he said, "Why would anyone want to live in this fucking Arctic hellhole?"
I didn't say that out loud. It's just what I was thinking internally. I was like, what? How many people are sneaking into fucking Winnipeg in the dead of winter?
Yeah.
Now that I've crossed the border, like probably 100 or so times. Because before I actually lived up here, I was like traveling back and forth all the time. I have a Nexus card so I can get back even faster. Probably 10 to 20% of the time you'll run into someone I call a hero or wants to be a hero who thinks, they have to like follow everything by the book, ask you every question, look through your whole car or stuff like that. Those people are annoying. Then there's the ones who just, I'm like, are you protecting anyone? Because they're like,
come on in.
John? Yeah. Okay, go on through.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, we got busted at the border once with a bunch of like weed paraphernalia. But we had like made it in with it, but we got caught coming out. So they're just like, hey, what's all this? And we're like, oh, it's for tobacco. And they're like, guys, come on. And then we were like, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. They found like one of those giant old volcano vaporizers. And we're like, yeah, it's because the singer, he's addicted to smoking, but he can't do it because it hurts his voice. And eventually they were just like, get the hell out of here.
Get the heck out of our country.
No. It was on the American side, so they were dicks.
Take off, hoser.
Yeah. Okay, John Johnson at JD7. Marry, fuck, kill. Pizza, tacos, burgers. Let the battle begin. What is your... I don't know if I'd have sex with any of them, but what do you prefer overall?
I mean, I'm going to go eat.
Yeah.
I would kill tacos because I much more prefer burritos.
That's why you left LA.
I like burritos way more than tacos. I would probably marry pizza because it's always there for you. It'll keep you warm. And then burgers, probably. Fuck, I guess. I
think burgers are my favorite out of all of them. Although pizza is becoming more of a rarity. Although none of those are very good for you. I always feel way worse after eating pizza than any of the other ones. So. At Granada Lula, what's your favorite trip you've ever been on? Spool, favorite trip?
When I was like 13 or 14, we did like a road trip with my family with a camper and our boat, and we went down through like eastern Washington all the way down to Lake Powell, which is like above the Grand Canyon. It's like a big lake that they have dammed off.
A long drive.
Yeah, and then we rented a houseboat and stayed on that lake for a week with our houseboat and that boat and then drove back across to Vegas and then LA and up, and so that was probably the coolest trip I've ever been on.
Nice little road trip.
More of the West Coast than I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elliot,
what about you, Elliot?
My
you
trip
guys
to
travel a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I went to Ireland in October and fucking loved it. Ireland is a great place to visit. Perfect sized country. You can see a lot of shit in like a week and a half.
Yeah,
nice.
And everyone there is pretty fucking nice. Yeah, I had a great time.
I think because I've done a lot of traveling and stuff, and I really like Europe, specifically Germany. I think that if I had to pick a place that wasn't in America, I'd say just anywhere in Germany is just lovely, and I love it there. But as far as like the best trip I've ever had, I think honestly, when we went, me and Elliot went to Hawaii for Jurassic World, and I stayed.
That was a great trip.
I stayed back a couple days to kind of like, I'm already here. They flew me out, so I'm gonna like take a late flight and like stay for like an extra 2 or 3 days. And that was the most relaxing. Like anytime you go on vacation, it's always like we have to do this. Go see this thing. Go see this thing. And there it was just like I'm gonna do nothing except eat an entire bowl of poke and sit by a pool and drink. And it was just the most relaxing thing ever.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I'm less into like visiting big cities. I'm more into like seeing nature and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to like Iceland. I know, Ricky, I think you've at least been to Iceland.
It's very expensive.
I want to go to Iceland and I want to go to New Zealand. Are like two that I really, really want to go
Iceland is cheap to get to, but once you like a hamburger's like $25.
They have to import everything.
Yeah, so if you want to do Iceland cheap, which Iceland's another place too, where it's like you're spending a lot of your time just driving to go see things, which is great, but you get to a waterfall and you're like, wow, it's beautiful. All right, let's go.
And right? You're like, I'll take a picture and done.
Yeah.
Let's get a $40 lunch.
Yeah. The cheap way to do it though, if you do go, is immediately go to or at the airport, buy all of your booze and drinks, and then in the city buy hot dogs and just boil hot dogs to eat or bring. You know what I did? This last time I went, I brought Soylent. So I would just
Oh.
I would skip lunch and just drink a Soylent and be good to go.
Smart.
Yeah.
I think I'm
That's
just
a hot
gonna.
tip.
I'm going in like September. I'm just gonna bring like a fishing pole and just catch all my meals.
John Felipe, $10. Ever been pulled over by a cop on horse up there in Canada, Spool? I hear all their horses are turbocharged.
They're called Mounties.
Yeah.
And no.
No.
They're on moose mostly. I've seen. I haven't seen many on horses.
I'm driving a 1 horsepower steed.
No, I'm lucky. I haven't been pulled over once while being up here. I'm always like afraid they're gonna be biased because I have a red car and it has American plates, and I'm like, they're gonna They're gonna
Look at this hot rodding son of a bitch up here tearing our
Hey,
country
look
up.
at that showboat.
Yeah.
right.
He's so flashy with his bright red car. We only have brown and green. He's
Right.
mocking our flag.
No, so I've been lucky that way.
And then Ryan Kroon at Crooner500 Spool. Did you do anything special this past Friday?
This plus for 420. No, actually, I was down in America visiting my parents. Very exciting stuff. We brought our Boston Terrier down there, and it's first time it's been out of the country and stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
cool.
was exciting. Very exciting old people.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, I had my...
Wait, how easy is it to bring a dog across the?
All
border?
you need is rabies vaccination proof, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought it'd be more complicated, but as long as you have like proof of rabies vaccination, they'll let you go across, or at least they should. You never say it for sure because they don't need any reason to deny you.
Yeah. Yeah, I had my dad flew in for the first time ever to visit LA. He's never been here. I've been here for 13 years and he's never come visit. So it was nice to actually have him out. But yeah, it was I was just with him all day and I thought it was funny because I'm like, all right, I haven't been in LA on 420 in a couple of years because I've always been at Coachella, which obviously is like 420 Central, and this is the first year where weed is recreational here. You can just go buy it in a store.
Oh yeah.
And so I like warned my dad when we were going out, like not that he's, stuck up or anything like, oh, I don't want to smell it or something like that. He's not at all. I'm sure he smoked a lot in the 70s, but I was like, hey, just so you know, like it's 420 in LA where weed's legal. So if we go out and eat somewhere and you just like happen to smell it, it's fine. It's just like normal here. People must have just stayed home. It was like there was no one out. We never had to wait for a table or anything like that. I think everyone's just getting Postmates and staying at home. It was like,
yeah.
It was
It's like 420 is like a holiday you celebrate, in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I guess.
I don't know. I've never really celebrated. I always threatened because in Washington it's been legal for a few years. So I've threatened every year to do like edibles because I've never had edibles before. So I've always threatened to or try them on 420 and stream or whatever.
Yeah, Funhouse did it. I haven't seen the. I wasn't obviously I was out with my dad, so I didn't get to see the stream. But I want to watch the replay of it. Yeah, I don't know. I think the last time I celebrated was probably 8 or 10 years ago, and it was just like, hey, let's all get brownies and just become comatose.
Yeah,
it's real.
Canada is like pretty soon. They're supposed to be voting or going to be making pot legal like across the whole country pretty soon. Or at least
it's been like decriminalized in Vancouver for a while.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend here because I think in BC it's still illegal to have it, or to have it for or for recreational use, medically and stuff like that. It is legal. But one of my friends is he joined a Rastafarian church.
Yeah.
Here in Vancouver, so that he can buy it from because then it's for religious means.
Sacrament.
Yeah.
So you just go to the Rastafarian church and you buy your weed and stuff, and then you take it home and you're doing it for religious reasons. So.
Yeah. We're just spitting in God's face. No, when I went, I remember the rule was, I wasn't checking the law, but back when we used to go to Vancouver, it was it's legal to have and to consume, but illegal to buy, which was like the loophole.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like as long as you didn't get caught in the purchase of it, you were good to go. Let's see. Mob Deep, $2. Ever gonna visit Switzerland? Greetings from Switzerland. I've been. It's beautiful. I don't know. I can't think of a reason to go back.
When
it's
I'm
very
running
expensive.
from the law someday, I'll visit Switzerland.
That's where Spool keeps all his gold.
Once I make my first million,
Yeah.
I'll come over to Switzerland with a duffel bag.
Yeah.
And spend some time.
Darth Raven 118, $10 for idiots watching anime. I'd recommend Ghost in the Shell movies or the cartoon Black Lagoon and Land of the Lustrous. Update for idiots watching anime. It'll hopefully be out soon, but we're about to film another episode this week. We've got a special guest, and we're going to be watching One Punch Man for the first time.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Spool, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Where can people
fun.
watch your Assassin's Creed streams?
My YouTube, or not YouTube, my Twitch channel is SPOOLEO, because someone has Spool and they've been sitting on it for years.
It was probably you when you signed up for Justin TV.
Maybe, I don't think so, but it's SPOOLEO, so Spool with an O.
Here, I'll put it in the chat right now on YouTube and Twitch.
I do have my YouTube is, I think, Spool or SPOOLEO as well, but I haven't uploaded there in like 9 months now, probably.
Yeah, you were ahead of the curve ditching YouTube.
It's just, it wasn't like the time that I spent editing, or like even just cutting off the head and the tail and then exporting it and then uploading it. It just wasn't worth that for getting like 1,000 views maybe, and then getting like 10 cents if that.
Yeah,
right. Like, not worth.
And then you've changed your Twitter handle to @SeanPoole instead of Spool because I don't know why.
Was it? I don't think it ever was Spool.
Oh, what?
It's always been Sean Poole.
Susan Poole in England has Spool. I've been don't worry, I've been
Damn it,
watching.
Susan.
But she uses it. She's like a marketing person. She uses it actively, so I'm like, okay, I can't be mad if you actually use it. But whoever at Spool is on Twitch, they never use it, and they got like 10 people following them.
Yeah, I had to change mine to it's Ricky FTW instead of Ricky FTW, and I guarantee you it's my fault. It's definitely like I signed up for Justin TV and I don't have the login or something, and blah blah blah.
Or there's one person out there that was like, haha, I'm gonna mess with them.
Yeah.
And set one up. You know, when they knew your username at one point or another.
Yeah. Is it Razius Gaming 5 pounds? Is it me or does Spool look like Adam Kovic's little brother?
What? Maybe I'm his son.
Oh!
Oh my god!
Hey, he did it, and you didn't even have to pay for it.
He did the meme.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, Spool.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Everyone, check out Spool's Twitch channel. What are you playing now? Is it still Assassin's Creed?
Assassin's Creed, we're on the Unity right now, which is actually really a pretty game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Elliot, what are you playing this week?
Witcher 3.
And then we'll be doing, I think we're doing Borderlands 2 for party time on Wednesday because we're filming the One Punch Man thing on Thursday. So we'll be diving headfirst back into that. And I think we're like, what are we, like 15 hours in now or something? It's got to be something like that.
We're like level 17?
No, I think we got 20 last time. I don't know. It's confusing.
I don't know.
Are you going to play pre-sequel too?
No, I heard that one's trash.
It has a mechanic where you're basically in space and you like float. It's like 0G, and then you can like slam down, and that mechanic alone ruins it for me. Like it just makes it really tedious.
It's really hard to get Elliot into games, but I think he likes Borderlands. You like it, Elliot?
I like it now. Yeah, once I figured out the whole like mechanics of your special abilities and once I got some guns that weren't complete ass.
Exactly.
Now I'm enjoying it.
You get like a god gun that just murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first guns, I'm just like I'm getting shot twice by the psychos and going down, and I'm putting like 50 bullets in these guys and barely hurting.
And he was the tank.
The playing field is level.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys, and we'll see you everyone else. We had Tech News Day coming out this week, a Tugs episode tomorrow, Weekly Weird News, News Dump, all that good stuff, and then filming an Idiots Watching Anime. We're trying to backfill it a little bit so we can release it in a scheduled sense without trying to like book people 3 times a week, because people have to sacrifice their entire days to come listen to us sound like morons talking about their favorite shows. So it's stressful. But thanks, Spool, and everyone just wave until I stop the stream. Bye.